Tale of Two Hygienists presents this week's TIPisode. Quick and easy tips to keep you up to date and presented by the experts in the profession. Now, get ready for your unofficial TIPisode. This week brought to you by GC America. All right, I'm really excited. We are live at ADA and we have a return TIPisode guest, Dr. Brian Novy. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Yeah. Thanks for hunting me down at ADA.
I know. It's fun. And we found cushy surfaces. And
we did. We found soft seats to sit down and do this.
I love it. Well, welcome back. So quickly tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, hi. My name is Dr. Brian Novy. I'm the Chief Dental Officer for the Alliance Dental Center with the Massachusetts Public Employees Fund. And I spend a lot of my time practicing. And when I'm not practicing dentistry, I'm talking about practicing dentistry, specifically how to better manage tooth decay.
So I want to have a big conversation with you today around sealants, and I'm curious what the most current information and evidence is telling us about sealants.
Well, that feels like a loaded question because you know how much I love sealants, but that's okay. I'm glad you asked, Michelle. We've known for a long time with evidence-based dentistry. In fact, the highest levels of evidence for what we do in dentistry are around fluoride application and sealants. So when it comes to anything we do in dentistry, there's nothing that's more evidence-based than sealants. And probably a decade ago, or more than a decade ago, the systematic reviews started saying, look, sealants work to prevent tooth decay, which okay, duh. We all pretty much thought that would happen, but systematic reviews, I don't want to say proved, but they kind of raised the level of evidence to say they work. Then another systematic review came out and said they only work if they're retained by the tooth. And that's problematic because oftentimes people see the sealants, they're not there after they've been placed. And I use a sealant material that's Glass Ionomer that most people don't use. And a lot of people worry that if a Glass Ionomer sealant is not in the tooth, 6 months, 12 months later, well, I did something wrong, or that sealant was a bad sealant, or I shouldn't use that sealant material because it falls out. Well, that's actually not the case. It's actually just the opposite. What people don't realize is that Glass Ionomer is such an intelligent material that it dissolves away at 0.1 at a pH of 0.1 above where the tooth would decay. And so even if there's no fluoride in the environment, and the mouth becomes acidic, like with a little kiddo who's drinking orange juice or, heaven forbid, Gatorade, or I don't know how many little kiddos drink Red Bull, but all of those acidic beverages, like lemonade, orange juice, even apple juice, they're acidic. And so when children drink them, there's a carcinogenic challenge. But what's really cool about Glass Ionomer is that it counteracts that carcinogenic challenge and then dissolves just a little bit, microscopically, neutralizes that acidic environment so the tooth can't decay. And so when you see a Glass Ionomer sealant is not in the tooth, that's actually a good thing because it means that it did exactly what it should do to prevent tooth decay. You have a great opportunity to just clean the tooth again, put more Glass Ionomer on there, and you're going to buy more time. Oh, the evidence says even a partially retained sealant is effective.
Oh.
And Glass Ionomer, we know from looking at scan electron micrographs of a Glass Ionomer sealed tooth, there's still Glass Ionomer in the very depth of that fissure. So even if you can't see it with your loupes, you can rest assured it's still protecting the tooth. But if you want to see it visually, you can bulk it up and add a little more bulk there, which is just going to give you that's going to better protect the tooth. So much different than composite resin sealants because those will never dissolve away. You're going to get a cavity around them every single time unless it falls out and it doesn't become a custom fitted plaque trap. So that is my short message on Glass Ionomer sealants. But the one thing you can notice is I think when a kiddo's mouth, if that child is not developing any sort of calculus on their teeth, you got to put Glass Ionomer sealants in their mouth because it's so acidic. They need the protection of the Glass Ionomer sealant because calculus is a great indication of a healthy mouth. I know that sounds weird, but it's an indication the mouth is remineralizing, not demineralizing. And so if you don't see calculus on kids' teeth, you need to be putting Glass Ionomer sealants on their teeth.
This is like a whole new way of thinking in our industry. It is.
Yes, but it's the evidence-based way of thinking.
Stop it, Ryan. We don't do evidence-based now. Okay.
Well, I do. In fact, I'm winning an award for it at this meeting.
You did. And congratulations, because that's amazing.
Thank you.
It is.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it yet because the press release hasn't come out.
Okay. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. But it's very different than how we talk about in dentistry. Like, no calculus on the teeth is health. If a sealant is dissolved away, it's the clinician's fault. Like, we did something wrong, or it's a crappy material, or whatever it is that we say. This is like a paradigm shift.
And may I also say though that sometimes if we leave our sealants high and they're bulky, that can also lead to them breaking out prematurely. So we want to make sure that even with Glass Ionomer Sealants, definitely don't leave them in hyperocclusion, because if you're banging into it, you'll break up big chunks of it.
That makes sense.
So do them just like you would a composite resin sealant. But I think you're going to find, in the systematic reviews show us, you're going to get less decay on those teeth that you seal with Glass Ionomer than if you use composite resin. Just look at table 7 and table 8 of the systematic review on sealants from the ADA.
Because we do that evidence-based dentistry. Love that. And also, I would say, call back to your TIPisode that you did for us. And you can do that by going to the website, atalo2hygienists.com, and just typing in Brian Novy.
Ooh, really?
Yes.
They can search for me
They
on
can
TIPisodes?
search for
Oh my
you.
gosh.
Of course, of course.
My hygienists are going to think I'm so cool.
They should already.
I don't know that they do. They know me. They see me every day. They don't think I'm that cool.
Well, but you did an amazing podcast, and you talked about like calculus buildup and stuff too. So it would really kind of complement what we just said in this. So this is good.
Cool. I don't really remember that TIPisode, but it's a vague recollection of the pandemic for
You
me.
said some smart things, if I do recollect, yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for this information. And do any other tidbits or resources people should go check out regarding sealants?
Well, not specifically sealants, but you can always check out my website, www.holymolar.com or www.holymolar.net. Holy Molar spelled WHOLLYMOLAR.
Perfect.
And that's where I keep most of my current handouts. Although I have a new handout, which is really cool, that you have to come to my course to actually get.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And if they want to learn more about Glass Ionomer Sealants, they could check out GC America as well.
Oh, the market leader in glass ionomer technology.
It's fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for listening to another TIPisode. And thank you to GC America for sponsoring this week's episode. You can find out more about their great products at gcamerica.com. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button in your podcast app. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and head over to our website, atalo2hygienists.com, to sign up for our newsletter. And we always appreciate ratings and reviews. Thanks again for listening to your unofficial dental hygiene podcast.